it's another book recommendation video. This time I am focusing on younger YA books. Now the problem I'm discovering with YA genre as a whole, one, it's not really a genre, it's like an age group. And it's also quite a large age group. It goes officially from 12 to about 16 here in the UK. And I do know that recently they've introduced a new category called New Adult. So that covers like the slightly more mature YA books that are coming out, like A Court of Thorn and Roses. But what I've wanted to do today is focus on the younger end of the YA bracket. So those children who've just come out of the 8 to 12 reading group and aren't quite ready for the heavy mature stuff, but are a bit past the lighter stuff. So here's some recommendations I have for you. Obviously this isn't all of them, there are a lot more out there, and if you're not sure, go into a bookshop, a decent stock bookshop, ask someone who's down in the children YA section. Also go and use your library. Librarians are very good at knowing what's good reading. So I'm going to start with the obvious, and that's the Harry Potter collection. There you go. These are my son's, and he's currently reading the 5th one in the series, which is the Order of the Phoenix. But this is a good place to start because the books start off quite gentle, and then about here they suddenly start hitting you with the emotional punches. So if you've got someone, about 10 years old, or a mature 8-year-old, I mean my son's 9 and he's just blitzed these this year, then I would suggest start at the beginning and work your way through gently, and by the time you get to Deathly Hallows you should be able to cope with all the emotional stuff that is going on and being thrown at you. So Harry Potter's like your good basic starter set. The next one to go for are the Percy Jackson series. There's 5 books in the Percy Jackson series. I've currently only got 4 of them. I'm missing book 3, mildly annoying. But it's Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, Sea of Monsters. Then it's the Titan's Curse, which I don't have, Battle of the Labyrinth, and the final one is The Last Olympian. These are Greek mythology, so they're a natural follow-on from Harry Potter. They can introduce you to all the mythology of the Grecians, a healthy dose of adventure, and some new characters. And the series is only 5 books. It's not quite as heavy as Harry Potter gets, because, obviously the books are a lot smaller compared to some of JK's later ones. But it's a fun adventure ride, and Rick Riordan has expanded his series, so he also has the Heroes of Olympus, the Kane Chronicles, and the Magnus Chase books as well. So if you really like his style of writing and the Greek mythology side of it all, then I would suggest try that aspect. The next series to put her into would be Alex Rider. These are written by Anthony Horowitz, and at the moment I think there's 11 of them now. Another one's just come out. I've got the first 4 here, because I think by book 5, things do start to get a bit darker and sort of more the realism of the world is starting to come in. So you might just want to be aware that at book 5, things do start changing quite drastically. But the Stormbreaker, Point Blank, Skeleton Key, and Eagle Strike. Very enjoyable, very much if you're into the sort of James Bond aspect. They're very James Bond-esque, actually, with the survival skills of Tintin. I mean, Alex really goes through an awful lot and shouldn't be alive in most of his books, but he survives, so there is that bonus. If you like your adventure a little bit more supernaturally and magic, then try the Skullduggery Pleasance series. So these are written by Derek Landry, so we've got Skullduggery, Playing with Fire, and The Faceless Ones. These are the first 3 books. These are the ones I've currently read. And basically Skullduggery is a dead detective. He's a walking skeleton. And his world involves magic, danger, other realms. And this book 2 gets slightly gory very quickly, so just be aware of that. If you want more crime and historical, try the Young Sherlock Holmes series by Andrew Lane. So we've got Death Cloud, Red Leech, Black Ice, Firestorm, Snakebite, and there are 2 more. I haven't got them yet because the covers are different and it doesn't match my set. But these tell the adventures of a teenage Sherlock Holmes in Victorian era Britain, and very much how he gets his skills that we know from his stories as an adult. And they're very well woven together, actually. There's a little bit of everything in there. They're highly educational because obviously Holmes is learning all these very random things. So you can learn an awful lot from them. And they do the Sherlock Holmes canon justice. They're actually written really well and with a lot of respect. Andrew Lane does know his Holmes, so these really shine through with that. If you want a bit more sci-fi to read, can't go wrong with the Time Riders series. These are written by Caro, and there are 9 books in the series at the moment, with the 10th one on the go. They consist of Time Riders, The Predator, Doomsday Code, The Eternal War, Gates of Rome, City of Shadows, Pirate Kings, The Mayan Prophecy, and The Infinity Cage. This is a really good series. I think it's slightly underrated, which is a shame. It's well written. The continuity hangs really well between it. It involves time travel, alternative universes, alternative histories. There's a big conspiracy theory going on, which is also discreetly woven through. So they're really good for readers who are trying to discover how a series can hang together, how plot points all are relevant to each other. And like I say, they're sci-fi based, following 3 teenagers who should have died at the beginning of the first book, and they're given this chance to protect time. It covers a lot of interesting subjects. The author doesn't patronise his readers at all. He gives them exactly what he knows they can handle. And it deals with love and loss and sort of the consequences of meddling with time, and does ask some very big questions, but highly recommended series. And finally, if you want a bit more fantasy and witchcraft with a healthy dose of comedy thrown in, you can't go wrong with the Tiffany Aching series by Terry Pratchett. The first one's called The We Free Men, The Hatful of Sky, Wintersmith, I Shall Wear Midnight. The final one's called The Shepherd's Crown. This is a very good series set in the Discworld, so if you know anything about the Discworld, this is part of that universe, but you don't need to read the Discworld books to understand the Tiffany Aching series. They stand alone by themselves quite happily, and they follow quite a feisty young lady as she discovers she's a witch where there is no business being a witch, and has to stand up to a lot of evils, a lot of bad forces coming into her world, protecting her family and her land, and also growing up and learning what that means as well. The comedy relief is supplied by the Knack-Mack Freegal. They are the wee free men, or little blue guys, who resemble very much blue Scottish people. So, you know, take that as you will, but they are great fun, highly recommended, and also very touching in places. It may bring up questions that you might have to talk about. There you go, there's some of the recommendations that I have. These are obviously only the ones that I've got on my shelf. Like I say, go check out the bookshop and the libraries, see what they've got on their shelves. And if you're never sure, there are websites where you can go and check out the content of books that are in the YA classification to see if they are suitable for certain age groups. I will be doing another video for the YA recommendations on the older books. Don't worry, that is coming. But this one is purely for the younger readers of the YA. I would say anyone under the age of 14. So there you are. As always, my social media links are down below in the description box. And thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Bye.